Yo, what is up, everybody? This is Jumpin here, and this is going to be a Mass Effect 3 gameplay commentary. Today I'm going to be bringing you the Drell Adept using the Cerberus Harrier. This is a really fun build to play. For the Harrier, though, if you have this gun, I highly recommend the piercing and the extended barrel. You could use extended magazine with the armor-piercing rounds if you wanted to, but that's really up to you. Now for the build. For Reeve, I highly recommend Radius. This is extremely important so you can hit multiple targets with Reeve for multiple explosions. You definitely want the damage reduction here, mainly because this guy is so flimsy. This will help somewhat. And then finally, damage duration. This is really nice, and it will give you more damage protection, and that's really the main point. Now for cluster grenades, I avoid pool on this build, but that's me. I like forcing damage, max grenades, and then for the final one is going to be shrapnel. Shrapnel actually increased the count of total grenades thrown from 2 to 3 for the cluster effect. Now for Drell Assassin, I like damage and capacity. It is a power using character. Power damage, that's pretty obvious. And then weapons damage. Now you could skip weapons damage and go for pool or 3 ranks into pool. I don't ever use pool, so I like the weapons damage. Now for the fitness, I do not recommend meleeing with this guy, and because of that, I highly recommend just going for all shields. The only thing that's unique about this guy is that he gets a movement speed bonus of 20%, so he can run faster than pretty much anyone in the game. Now for the equipment, I'm going to be using Warp Rounds 3, Assault Rifle Rail Amp 2, Warfighter Package 5, which is actually really awesome and amazing for a build like this. And then Power Amp 3, mainly for the explosions and the grenades. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the gameplay. First thing I wanted to talk about is the fact that I'm using Warfighter Package. I know I've said in other commentaries I really hate grenade capacity, which I do. I really don't like grenade capacity. Warfighter Package, I think, is somewhat okay. Just because it is nice, because it gives you a boost to assault rifles, and for a build like this is very amazing. Just because it extends my grenades to 5, which is extremely useful for a map like this, because this is going to be Gold Reapers on Condor, which this map is definitely one of the ones I do not like in the game that much. I don't like the spawns. I don't actually like a lot of things about this map, to be honest. This map just is really dumb. But like I was saying though, Warfighter Package is really amazing though, and I don't think it's as cheap as grenade capacity, because this guy with grenade capacity can hold 8 grenades, which is insane. But with Warfighter, it's only 5, so that's what I would say. I will use Warfighter packages on like things like a human soldier if I was using an assault rifle on it, just for the double bonus. Why not? Alright, but anyway guys, so let me go ahead and get right away into this build and right away into like the way you want to play with this. One thing about the Drell Adept, I've said this in prior videos and I'll continuously always say it. I personally believe this is the best Adept in the game. My favorite to play for sure. And just the fact that he has, it's really a toss-up right now. I mean, I don't know about the new DLC stuff, what it's going to be like yet. I mean, it is coming out in a couple days, and I can't wait for that. But as of right now, in the game, the Drell is probably the best offensively, where the Asari Justicar is the best defensively. But also, the one nice thing about the Asari Justicar is that she gets the bubble. But this guy gets the grenades. So it's a toss-up, but really, honestly, Reeve is like the best power in the game when it comes down to doing the explosions and stuff, because of the radius that you get and all that nice stuff. And what's amazing about this guy is the fact that he's able to use that to his advantage. If you can Reeve a group of 3 enemies and then you chuck a cluster nade into the group of 3 enemies, you're talking about a straight-up kill streak. That's just what will happen. Well, maybe not 3 enemies, but in a group of enemies. If you're able to Reeve 3 enemies in a group of 5, and you chuck a cluster grenade into that mix, that will be pretty much a kill streak, which is amazing. His grenades are very useful, but one thing I want to say is I've seen tons of people play the Drell Adept, And I do not think people, I personally have never seen anyone play with him the right way. Maybe one or two people, but mainly, for the most part, I've never seen someone play with him the exact right way. The way you want to play with this guy, people don't understand how to use the grenades. They really don't. So let me go ahead and tell you right now the secret to cluster grenades. The secret to cluster grenades, just like the secret to any adept, any vanguard, all characters like that, is close range. You want to stay close range. Since Mass Effect 1, I have always kind of known that all adapts and vanguards and stuff were close range. It didn't really matter much in Mass Effect 1, but it really mattered in Mass Effect 2, and it also really matters in Mass Effect 3. Even powers like Warp should be used at close range because it takes away the chance of enemies dodging the Warp. And same with Throw. Shockwave is obviously meant to be a close range power, even though they have updated it and gave it a lot more range, but originally it was intended to be a close range power. And of course, vanguards are always supposed to be close range. And these grenades work the same way. They are close range grenades. They are cluster grenades. The way you want to throw these things is point blank. If you can run up point blank to an enemy, especially things like banshees and brutes and groups of enemies, if you can run up point blank and hit them directly in the face with the grenade, you cannot miss. That's the thing. You just cannot miss when that happens. And that is amazing. That will actually kill the enemy instantly. If you're able to blow up 3 cluster grenades, like right here, this is a good example. What do you do when you reave a Banshee? You run up point blank. Now you take the risk of potentially getting grabbed, yes, and brutes can be a big hassle because they will melee you, and it's extremely difficult to dodge if you are point blank. And I will be just wrecked this whole game by brutes, to be honest. Brutes will consistently hit me. But that's because I am going to continuously run point blank and chuck the cluster grenade. Because instantly all 3 grenades will blow up, dealing a massive amount of damage to the brute. And with the explosion thrown into that, it's going to practically kill a brute one bomb. Maybe not kill the brute, but it will at least take them down to about half armor. And sometimes even more, depending on how many of the grenades actually detonate on impact. But that's pretty much the way you really want to play with this guy, to be honest. That's what I really don't see. I don't see people run up point blank and throw these grenades, because that's really, like I said, the main purpose of them is to run point blank, throw the grenade out, and you just can't miss. And you will wreck enemies. It's just that simple. Now, the worst part about the Drells in the game is the fact that they are so flimsy. Adapts in general are very flimsy, and in this case with the Drell, he is no exception to that rule, but he is definitely the most flimsy out of all of them, and it can be very difficult to stay alive as a Drell, mainly due to the fact that he has no barriers. No barriers, so instantly on gold you may actually lose all your health and all your barriers immediately, and then take a lot of health damage. Unfortunately, what they really need to do with this guy is they really need to, especially for platinum difficulty, they really need to increase his overall barriers and maybe even his health. Or if it wasn't, maybe not his barriers, but at least his health. Just to make him not so flimsy. Because platinum, this guy will be extremely useful for platinum difficulty when it comes out on Tuesday. But unfortunately, if the enemies are going to be a lot stronger and able to deal out a lot more damage, then that definitely could be a big issue for him, and he might be useless. Same with like the Geth, Infiltrator, and Engineer. That's what I'm worried about, is that those characters might really be not that good for platinum if the enemies can deal a lot more damage. Because if you think you get dropped, honestly, the truth of the matter is this, is that if you use like the Geth Harrier builds, or if you use no fitness on your Geth, and hunter mode and all that good stuff, the second you get shot on gold, you die. It's just that simple. Like, if the enemy see you and shoot you, it's almost impossible to stay alive, because you just get dropped that quick. Where On maybe silver and stuff, it wouldn't be so bad, but on gold, it's like that. So the question is, imagine how fast you will die on platinum. And like I said, it can really be a big issue for some things like that. Like I don't know. So that's just what I'm fearing. But overall, though, like I said, this guy is a lot of fun to play. If you can get good at playing this guy close range, which, like I said, it's risky, but the reward is definitely worth it, just because of the sheer amount of damage that you're going to be able to cause to the enemies. Reeve will get you a billion points. It really will, especially if you're doing in some type of adapt team like we're doing in this gameplay. Because if I Reeve and I'm the main, or if I'm the only one with Reeve, which I believe I am the only one with Reeve in this gameplay, then everyone else is just going to be getting me tons of kills. Because if I Reeve them and then they warp or something, they will give me explosions. Or if MB charges or uses smash, that will give me explosions. And it works the same way. I can always detonate their explosions as well. But for the majority of it, it will be me just getting I will get the more explosions because I have so much radius on my power, where other powers like Smash does have a good radius. It just can only set up one explosion. Reef can set up 3 explosions. Warp can only set up 1 explosion. So that's pretty much the best way to think of it. That's the reason why Warp is so good. And all powers that are like not Warp, I mean that's why Reeve is so good. But Warp is good as well, but Warp is better for a single target. The explosion that you get off of Warp is pretty much the strongest explosion in the game. Where the explosion you get off of Reeve isn't that strong, but it's just the fact that you can hit 3 enemies and set them up for an explosion. And if you can get 3 explosions, it's better than 1. Same with the whole idea of cluster nades. Cluster nades, you want to go for shrapnel, because shrapnel gives you 3 grenades instead of just 2 very powerful ones. That's your 2 options. In the 6th evolution of cluster nades, you can actually increase the damage and the force by 50%, which is extremely godly, making the grenades extremely powerful. But when you do the math, I think it totals out to be like 1100, 1200 damage. Don't really know, but it's somewhere around there with like a bajillion force. I know it's like 2000 force, so that's really cool. The force is cool. But the truth of the matter is that if you took the damage from just adding 1 more grenade to the mix, which is what you get from shrapnel, then it actually totals up to be like 2400 damage if you can hit with all 3 grenades. And that is the goal, like I said, to the Drell, is to try to hit the enemies with all 3 of the grenades, if possible. And to do that successfully, you need to run up like right here, point blank. It is risky, like I said, but the reward is awesome because you will kill everything. But yeah, that's pretty much the point. So that's the main point of the Drell I wanted to make. This is somewhat of a revised build. I've done this in the past. It wasn't that popular of a video, so it's really nice to be able to do it again. Mainly since you guys really probably wanted to see the Drell from me, because like I said, he is my favorite adept. And he's the only one I really like to play as, to be honest. Yeah, he's really the only one. Maybe the Adjusticar, but I just rarely... If I'm going to play with an Adept team, I normally just play as a Vanguard or something to detonate the explosions for my teammates. Because I know I can do that really well. Alright, so that's really like the main purpose of this video, is just to share with you some secrets of the Drell. But anyway, let me go ahead and get back into... some more DLC talk, because I'm sure some of you guys want to know some more information since the DLC is coming out in a couple days. Now, I really want to talk about Platinum. That's the main thing I want to talk about, because I've learned some information. I'm not too sure if it's true or not, but the 2 things I've learned about was that apparently no one has beaten Platinum yet, and the only ones who have actually been able to really play it is the developers, BioWare, the staff and stuff. They cannot beat Platinum apparently. I know there's videos of the new DLC stuff from Comic-Con. I haven't watched them yet. I'm not interested in seeing them. I know a lot of you guys probably did. It's okay you watched them, but I'd rather just play with them and learn them myself than watching a video. That's not how I am. I know you guys watch my videos because you want to learn how to play with some of these how to play with some of these characters and these builds better. But me personally, I'm the one who, I'm the one coming up with the videos. I'm the one doing these gameplays. So I don't watch videos for video games, to be honest. I really don't. The only video game videos I ever really watch are either joke videos or funny videos, which I know that sounds like a joke video, but I don't know. It's hard to explain. And then the other one is maybe montages for Halo and things like that. Maybe Call of Duty montages. I don't know. It just depends on the mood I'm in. I don't really watch about videos about how to play games better because for the most part I play almost every video game extremely well. So that's the thing. So I really don't want to watch the Comic-Con thing, but I don't know if anyone was playing Platinum at Comic-Con, but if they were, I'm pretty sure probably no one beat it. So apparently Platinum is supposed to be extremely hard. And one thing I have heard, which I don't know if this is true, but someone told me this, is that Platinum apparently is going to contain all 3 factions, which is something that is amazing if that's the truth. Because that is one of the things I really hoped they would put into this game. Maybe I used to say that. Well, maybe they don't need to add a new difficulty, but one nice thing they could do, which is what they're apparently might be doing with Platinum, is to mix it up, to make it so that you might fight all 3 factions on any given wave. And that's amazing if that's the truth, which I don't know if it is, like I said, but if it is, that will be amazing. And apparently the way that my friend was telling me how it's going to work is that initially I think it's going to start with 1 faction, and by wave 10 of Platinum you will be fighting all 3 factions at the same time. It's going to mix it up as you go along. It's going to start off with 1 faction, and then eventually, probably by wave 6 or 3, they're going to put in 2 factions, and then you might be seeing by wave 8 or 9 all 3 factions, and by wave 10 it's probably going to be all 3 factions. Like a ton of the boss enemies are the worst enemies from those factions. Like, I mean, just imagine this on the map on wave 10. Phantoms, Atlas, Geth Prime, Banshee, Brute, and maybe a Hunter. Imagine that would be the enemies on the map. Something along those lines. So you might have to be fighting 2 Phantoms with 1 Banshee, 1 Prime, 1 Atlas, maybe 2 Hunters or Pyros, don't really know, and maybe like a Brute or a Ravager. That would be insane. That would be really crazy, and yeah, I can see how that could be extremely hard, especially if they do upgrade the health, and if they do upgrade like the damage that the enemies can cause, and the sheer amount of them, which I'm sure they probably will increase the sheer amount of enemies. A good example of that would be, more likely, and even if that whole thing is wrong about all 3 factions being in 1 mixture, then even if that's wrong, more likely they are going to increase the enemies so that, let's say wave 10 on Platinum, you're going to be fighting 3 Atlases, 4 Primes, 3 Banshees at the same time. That would be insane as well. My buddy who told me about the whole all 3 factions thing being mixed up into 1, he read it off the forums. So, like I said, I just don't know. I keep hearing about how a lot of people think that Firebase White, Geth Platinum will be easy. So that's the confusing part. It's because a lot of people keep saying that, like, apparently that they're going to be playing Firebase White, Geth Platinum. So that's the confusing thing. I don't really know. Maybe this could be a new game mode to contain all 3 factions. That would be awesome too. Like, I would love to play against all 3 factions, have a all 3 factions game mode. And they could easily do that by just putting that into the enemy selection screen. All 3 factions game mode that will give you more experience and more money in general. but you could play on any difficulty you want. So it could be on bronze, silver, or gold, or platinum. That would be cool as well. Well, actually, I would say that would be cool, because like the truth of the matter is that I think that if they do that, and let's say you play platinum, that should be the way that you can get 150,000 experience. I'm not experience. I mean credits. So the way that you would get 150,000 credits, which I don't know what the money's going to be yet, but I really do hope it's going to be 150,000 credits per platinum game. But like I said, that would be really awesome. Is that the only way to actually achieve that amount of money is to go ahead and play all 3 different factions at once, platinum. So instead of unknown, it's going to be mixed up unknown or something, and that just seems like it'd be extremely hard. And that was a really sick little drill dodge I got right there. I love the Drell's dodge, I really do. But anyway, guys, like I was saying, overall though, I am so excited over it. I'm not really going to talk about much more of the DLC. You will see it as it comes out, but I will definitely be doing a platinum gameplay right away. And yes, I will be making it a live commentary, and maybe on a new map. I don't think I'm going to do my first platinum game with new characters, just because, like, okay, a good example is that when the new characters came out for the Rebellion DLC, I was down to play with, like, my very first gold gameplay. I was down to play with a new character containing on a new map or something like that. I was down to do that. But now that there's a new difficulty, because I mean, you know what to expect. You really do know what to expect when you play gold at this point. You at least should. Where if you play platinum, or the first time I play platinum, which like I said, I'm going to record it and do a live com, we really will not know what to expect. So during the live com, you might hear us screaming and laughing and just having a good time, but also being like just terrified of the fact that there's a Banshee, a Prime, and a Phantom coming after us, or something along those lines. Who knows? But it will be really fun. It will be insane. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright. So anyway, guys, pretty much, let me get back into this gameplay. Now, right there, I thought I was so dead. I actually stopped moving, and I told my buddy, hey man, get ready to pick me up. Which, if you're gonna die, you know you're gonna die from like a warp or a swarmer or blood or whatever it's gonna be. When you're taking DPS damage, pretty much, and you know you're gonna die, try to run to your teammate, try to run away from all the enemies, and just call it out. Be like, hey man, I'm gonna die. Get ready to pick me up. And that's what I was planning on doing right there. But apparently, I got really lucky and didn't die, which was so surprising. Because that really cost me. It would not have cost me dearly if I died. But what I was going for in this gameplay was a flawless game to not die as a Drell, which is extremely hard. I hope you guys know that. It's like going flawless with a Geth infiltrator or engineer. It's extremely hard to do. But that was my goal this gameplay, was to try to go flawless if possible. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. And if I would have died right there, I would have been really disappointed, to be honest. Because as you can tell, I'm out of outpacks, and I was just so confident I was going to die. And I got really lucky I didn't. Alright, so this is Wave 10, as you can tell. We have an upload right now. It's like the worst thing that can ever happen to you when you get uploads on Wave 10. Mainly because Banshees. Yeah, Banshees will screw you over so bad on Wave 10. They really will. Because there's 2 Banshees coming at you all at once, and you have a ton of brutes. I think it's a total of 3 brutes on the map at once. The Ravagers can also really deal some damage, but they will not like rush the upload like the brutes and Banshees will. But the best thing to do, honestly, is just to rocket the Banshee. I even pulled out my rocket because I was getting ready to do it as well if I had to. Which I haven't actually used many rockets this game, so that's actually kind of impressive too for myself. Normally I love to use rockets. Anyway, guys, like I was saying, so yeah, but we got the upload done, but that's the main thing. When the 2 Banshees get into the upload with you, you really want to immediately, you really do want to immediately rocket them out, because you don't want to take that risk of anyone getting grabbed. One person gets grabbed in an upload wave 10, then it's going to make it so much longer. Like, the ejected wave is just going to be so much longer to get the ejective done, and you just do not want that. You do not want to take that risk of that happening. That's really funny that Envy got dropped right there. But I don't even know how he died. But anyway, like I was saying, like I said, so you really do need a rocket. Don't be stingy. If 2 people get grabbed, it's almost impossible to get the upload done. It just takes so long, and it's just so annoying. Alright, so this map, one of the secrets to this map for the extraction wave is to stay in this initial spawn. That's what you call any spawn in the game that you initially spawn at. Now that little area down there would seem like a landing pad, but for some reason it's not. But most of the time the initial spawns on the maps are the landing pads, but sometimes they're not. So you have to have a call out or a name for them, which you can just call them initial. So if you ever hear me say initial, that's what I mean. Initial spawn point of where you first spawn in. Now, like I was saying though, one thing about like this little area is that this area is amazing for camping. It is amazing for camping. So that's something to think about. Like when the new engineers come out with the ammo boxes, that little spot might be really useful. See, the reason why it's not useful right now is because there's only one ammo box, and this map has really messed up ammo. So you just run out of ammo so quick if you try to camp down there. Honestly, that spot down there will be a better spot than Firebase White Geth farming, to be honest. Just because it really will be. Alright, so right here, we're trying to get the full extraction, and we only got 5 seconds left. I haven't died yet. I'm really excited because I really wanted this flawless, and yes, I do get it. So that was awesome. I really hoped you enjoyed this gameplay. Like I said, Drell Adept is amazing. The main thing to do with him is to try to use your grenades close range. It's risky, but the reward is a massive amount of damage, and it's amazing and a lot of fun. Also, I really am looking forward to the new Platinum difficulty, and I will definitely be doing a gameplay for it almost immediately once it comes out. I will try to get that up as soon as possible, especially if we beat it. But that's going to be pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Peace out.